Hello, everyone. We'll get ready or get started here in about 5 minutes. So if you want to put your name in the chat, and Kevin's going to take attendance, that would be awesome. If you want to take attendance on everyone that's here. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm having some computer issues. Hopefully this is streaming out to the internet. If you hear me okay and see me okay, tell me in the chat here. My computer was locking up, so gonna wait till I see a green light on the chat to make sure that I'm streaming okay. Oh, and it says that I'm not pushing a lot of data to YouTube. I guess something's going on with my Charter internet. Well, that's what we get for living in a world of technology. You can't do anything about it. And the green light. Yeah, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me and see me, or if I'm okay. Cliff has given me some thumbs up on the chat here. All right, 5-9. Okay, very good. Welcome, everyone. Streaming. Yep. All right. I think I'm back now. Can everyone hear me? All right. Sorry about that, everyone. My computer glitched, and when you got a computer glitch and you got 10 things open, of course, it all comes crashing down. All right. So we're going to restart this this meeting. Welcome to the August SLSRC General Meeting. I'm Kyle, Club President. Sorry about the technical glitches, but that's the way it rolls here. Hope you and your family are safe. I just want to remind everyone to wear a mask when you're out in public to help slow the spread of the virus. Hopefully we'll have a vaccine soon, and we'll have herd immunity. And once that happens, hopefully we'll be able to meet in person, and everything will be back to normal. YouTube chat. So if you want to put your... Let's see, would it be over there or would it be over here? I can't remember. But anyway, you must have a Google account to put anything in the YouTube chat. If you have a question, put it in the chat. We'll answer it. Or you can send us an email at info@slsrc.org. If you go to our website and click on Contact Us, that's where you can find all of the information that you need for getting a hold of us. If you want to put your name and your call sign in the chat, Kevin is taking attendance. We like to take attendance at these things to see who is here. Also, you might want to, down here in the bottom, below, you might want to change it to high def. You might be streaming me and the stream here in regular definition, so you might want to change that to high def. I think my bandwidth is stable now. I think what did me in was, I think my internet crapped out, so that's what did me in. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button. That helps us grow and gets this YouTube channel and all our presentations in front of more people. So that's what we like to do, is to promote ham radio. And that's about it that I have for the YouTube announcements. Again, put your name and your call sign in the chat here, and we'll take attendance. Is there any new texts or upgrades in the last month? Please put them in the chat. I know that we've got a few new people here that we want to encourage to get their license. I think, who was it that I just... I think it was Kathy. Kathy Kroll, hopefully is getting her license soon. If you've upgraded or you're new to ham radio, please let us know in the chat, and we'll get you on the list for study material, or congratulate everyone that is upgraded. I'll wait here a little bit as people trickle in, and we get some more people in the chat here. Looks like we've got about 42 or so. And then also, if you're new here, welcome. You want to put in the chat that you're a guest. We'd love to have you as a member. You don't have to become a member, but that's how we do really cool stuff for the club. Dues are $30 a year. We have a membership drive during October, November, and December, which is coming up. So one of the nice things about the club is you can come to the club meetings for free and test out the club and see if it's for you. So, all right, moving down on the agenda, I don't see anybody that got an upgrade, so we'll move on. Is there any silent keys? I don't know of any silent keys, but I'm going to wait in the chat to see if there's anybody who knows of any silent keys. Nope, no silent keys. Okay. Moving on. So we've got a club website. It's at www.slsrc.org. St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club, SLSRC.org. You can find all of the information, the all updated information about the club at that website. Tina does a fabulous job on updating that. We have a communication process. All the communication comes out Twitter, Facebook, our website, and through email. So if you have not signed up for the email list and you want to get email notifications, if you go to the lower right-hand corner of our webpage, there is a sign-up list where you can go and sign up for the email list. And like I said, we have a Facebook, a Twitter, and obviously you're streaming us on YouTube. So if you go to Facebook and enter in, just type in St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club, we should be the first one that pops up. And then same thing with Twitter, if you want to follow us on Twitter. And then also, one thing that I mentioned, there's a STL Hams, STL St. Louis Hams on Facebook. It's a really good place to get information if you want to post anything for sale. If you want to ask a general question about ham radio, that is an excellent place to go and get information if you're looking for local information, but also just general posting about ham radio. So, just want to say about that on Facebook. Catching up here in the chat. Looks like people are checking in. Thanks for attending, everyone. All right, so we have been having, St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club hosts breakfasts. They were the second and third Saturday of the month. The second Saturday was the Denny's on Midland, and then the third Saturday was the Denny's in Sunset Hills. The second Saturday was a little early. It was 7 a.m., and the second Saturday was at 8:30 for people who wanted to sleep in. Of course, we are not doing those breakfasts because of the human malware virus, but we decided to do some virtual breakfasts on Google Hangouts or Google Meet, and the first one was a hit. The second one had low attendance. The third one had even more low attendance. And the nice thing about going to breakfast is whenever you sit at a table, you can have a conversation with the person next to you or down from you, and there can be many different conversations going on. Well, in the Google Hangout or the Google Meet, there's only one conversation. So the attendance started to go down and down and down. So we decided to postpone those for the month of September, so we're not going to have one in the month of September, and we're going to reevaluate those in the coming months. If you didn't know, MS Bike is postponed until 2021, but they are riding virtually, so if you want to sponsor a rider in during MS Bike, see Rebecca, KC9CIJ, if you're interested in donating. I bring this up because a lot of St. Louis and Suburban Radio members were volunteers. They used the ham people to do communications for that bike ride. A lot of SAG vehicles, a lot of support people, a lot of I'm missing the word here. Rebecca's yelling at the screen at me. Anyway, like 80, 85, 80, 90 hams were part of that effort, and because it's postponed, they're doing it virtually. So if you want to sponsor Rebecca, you can email her at kc9cij@slsrc.org, or look her up on QRZ and send her an email. Another announcement that I have that is a little sad is I learned today on STL Hams on Facebook that Gateway Electronics is going out of business. Sounds like after they moved, there just wasn't a lot of business of people coming into Chesterfield Mall. So they are going out of business. Might want to get over there in the next couple of weeks and get all of your electronics, because I think they're going to heavily discount everything. So it's a sad update that I saw. Just wanted to pass that along. And then also, we played Yahtzee on the repeaters last weekend. We had people call in, and we gave them dice rolls, and then they tried to make the best hands out of the Yahtzee dice rolls that we gave them off of the 4 repeaters. It might have been 5 repeaters. I can't remember. But anyway, wasn't a huge turnout that we had. So we're wondering if the contests on the repeaters have lost their luster. So if you want to see more contests on the repeaters, put them in the chat. Say that you'd like to see more. We've got at least one in the books. I'm sorry. We've got one that we could possibly do. But if people aren't interested in contests, we might push that off to another time. So if you like contests, put it in the chat. If you don't like contests and you don't care, put that in the chat. If you're indifferent, put that in the chat. If you're wearing a green hat and eating brown eggs, put that in the chat. I don't care. So just let us know if you want to see some more contests on the repeaters. And then also anything else that people have for announcements. Larry says, I like the games on the repeaters. Was out of town camping. Jeff says, had fun with Scrabble. Never played Yahtzee. Yeah, I think that, one, it was on a very nice weekend, and the weather was great that day, and I think that maybe that had something to do with it, but I don't know. We might do our contest idea that we've got for the repeaters one more time, and we'll see what type of participation we get. So anything else that people want to cover or have questions about? Everyone says, I like contest. Anybody want to cover anything? Anybody have any questions in the chat? We're going to move on to updates from the committees, as long as I can get everyone's... Hang on. I got to get my screen here all situated. All right. So once everyone's time is due, I will let you know. I'm going to go first. So I am the engineering chair, and we really have not been doing a lot of... Phil. This is a comment. We haven't been doing a lot of engineering stuff because gathering in groups is not smart. So we've just kind of been letting the repeaters do its thing. The one thing that we have been doing a lot of is the Arden stuff. And we have been VPNing and connecting Arden nodes together through the internet and putting some stuff, or learning about the Arden network. So if you're interested in building an Arden node at your house and connecting it up to the club's Arden system, please let me know. Email me at info@slsrc.org, and I will get you the instructions on kind of the hardware that you probably should buy first, and we'll get you connected. It's a really cool system. So that's all I've got about engineering. I'm also website committee chair, and don't have anything else other than I like to thank Tina on all her hard work that she does to keep the website up and running. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't probably even have a website. So thanks to Tina. Go out to the website and get all the information that you need about the club. All right, so I'm going to bring, man, I said Yahtzee, and it's chat's blowing up about Yahtzee. Brendan, the 2-meter sprint, keep your eyes open for information about the 2-meter sprint. We're going to change it a little bit this year, and we're going to incorporate it into a larger contest, possibly. I just have to get all the stuff together. So I'm hoping to do that this weekend. So what is the approximate cost of an Arden node? The first Arden node that you need, Rick, is $50. You need a MikroTik Arden node, or MikroTik UAP. I think that's what it's called. It looks like this. Here's the club node right here, and it's got the ports on the thing. This is what you need to get started. Robert, does the club ever do a fox hunt? We did a fox hunt a long time ago. St. Charles did a fox hunt. I know they did a fox hunt. We have got that on the list of things that we would like to do, yes. And I think, we have enough talent in the club to build the fox nodes to beacon out. So, yeah, that's on our list. Anything else? I'm going back up here through the chat. Josh says I was going to participate. Yeah, I like contests. Have you seen the FCC that wants to charge the $50 for a license? Well, that's a proposed change. So CNJ113, put your call in the behind your statement there, CNJ. Yeah, I have seen it. There is an FCC proposal to do that, but I think that proposal has been proposed before and has been shot down. So hopefully it will be voted down again, because we want to keep amateur radio licensing free, or very, very minimal costs. Very minimal costs. We can't afford to have a huge fee for people to get into the hobby. Okay, anything else? I'm going to bring on the cast of characters here. Let me get them all transitioned. All right, Paul, you want to... hang on. I got to... All right, Paul, I'm going to pin your main screen. I'm going to give you... Oh, you know what? I can't... The lower thirds.
Looks like I'm on full screen on the YouTube.
Yeah, I wanted your lower third though.
I'll just ID. Hi everyone.
Yep, go.
Hi everyone. This is Paul Kebby, KC0CBL, and I am the board member at large for the odd years. And one of the responsibilities of that position of the board members at large is to conduct the elections for each year, depending upon even or odd year. This year we are going to be re-electing some folks, or we're actually going to be having elections for folks. The president, secretary, board member at large even year, the new ham representative, are all positions that are open for election. The elections will be held in the November meeting. We're still expanding and looking for technologies to allow us to do a online voting. So we hope to be able to discuss that a little bit further here in the not too distant future. So We are, however, looking and requesting and encouraging everyone to please consider whether or not you could support the club by participating in one of these positions. Each one of them is a critical position to the operation of the club. This is my first ever year as a board member of any organization, and it certainly has been enlightening. It's not been overly burdensome. Some of the roles are a little bit more challenging than others, but we certainly do look for everybody to be a part of the club and help join in by supporting and being a board member at some point in time. There are, currently 47 folks out there right now that are on this meeting. You can probably be looking for an email in the not too distant future to reach out to the rest of the club members to ask for them. But if you know of anyone, or you yourself would be interested in either learning more about any one of these roles, or perhaps putting your hat in your name in the ring for running for one of these roles, I certainly would encourage you to do that. And just send an email to info@slsrc.org, or you can send it to me personally at Kilo Charlie 0 Charlie Bravo Lima at slsrc.org. Look forward to working with everyone and finding our new leadership. As Kyle announced last month at the meeting, he is not going to be seeking re-election. And we have one other position that, while it's not an elected position, it certainly is critical to the operation of the club, and that is our IT leader. George, who's doing the presentation tonight, has decided that other parts of his life are demanding more and more of his time, and he needs to step away from the role he's been doing with us for a while. So certainly anyone who would be interested in working and leading the IT functions of the club is encouraged to reach out to us as well. With that, Kyle, I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
So look forward to hearing from some folks.
Okay, very good. Let me see if I can unpin. All right. Next on the list, let's go with Bill. You're next on the list. Let me pin your video. All right, you're up.
Okay, folks. So I am Bill, KC9CIK, and I got a couple of committees I'm going to report on here. One is our membership. So currently our membership is at 244. That is down from last year. We're about 40 down from last year. But I think we can fairly contribute that to the fact that we haven't been able to do classes this year. We haven't been able to go to other meetings and just push for membership. So I'm not too worried about it this year. Moving on to nets, the Tuesday night net. This past month, it's kind of nice month. I think people were getting out and about. So our average for the month dropped by about 10. Again, not a concern because it's July. The weather was good. People have things to do. But otherwise, we have been kind of doing pretty well, 35 plus, almost 40 of an average. More than once, we have definitely hit well over 40. So those are going well. And we have some more people that are starting to be net control operators with the Tuesday night net. And finally, programs. So programs, we obviously have the one George is doing today. I'm looking forward to that. And then next month, Peter Brisbane, N0MTH, who used to live here in St. Louis, but recently has moved with his wife down to New Mexico. And he's going to talk about the challenges of moving ham radio style. I know several of us have moved houses with amateur radio, but take a look at moving across state lines. And I think he's going to give us an interesting presentation on that. If you have any programs that you are interested in seeing, please send me an email. And that email will be kc9cik@slsrc.org. And I think that covers everything I need to report on.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Cliff, you are up with your high-tech slides.
I have some. Can you hear me? I have some high-tech slides. First of all, I saw Rick's comment about classes, and we'll get to that in just a minute, and also Kathy. First of all, I apologize. The camera is here. I'm looking at YouTube on the phone, and I have a big monitor over here, so bear with me. First of all, this is kind of a save the date. This is our last. Let's see. Do I have the high tech? There we go. Mentoring workshop. There we go. Friday, September the 4th, 7 p.m. on 146.85 repeater. This will be the last session. They started in April and run through September, and in October. Next slide, we'll be starting the Back to Basics. And the difference is the mentoring workshop is an open conversation, question and answers, no agenda particularly. The Back to Basics has a program for each session, and we'll be sending out email about that. I see I'm watching YouTube and I'm on delay here, so I apologize. That's October the 2nd is the first one. And we'll be going through March with different programs, different topics, and that'll be posted on the website. Rick, you asked about classes. Paul and I had in June and July, and maybe the first week in August, a session with the general people. I say general, the ones that were studying for general. They already had their tech license, and it worked out okay. But what we did not have was the interchange question and answers back and forth that you have in a classroom. And because of the size or the expected size of the tech class, we did not have that. And the involvement and detail in the extra class, we did not have that. So for right now, all that we have going is, let me get my high tech, drop it down, study guides. Oops, I'm crooked here, apologize. Study guides, education at SLSRC.org. And we will send them to you. They cover only the possible test questions. And if you've been in one of our classes, you know that our motto is the object is to pass the test you can understand later. So if you're interested in study guides, technician, general, or the new extra that became effective in July 1st, education at SLSRC.org. And last but not least, VE testing. Cliff Cave is back doing local testing, and their website, let me get this straight here. Kyle, how do you like my high-tech slides here?
It's great.
CliffKVE.com. That is their website. It has their calendar, and the next dates for September are the 5th and the 19th, and that's a Saturday. They start at 1 p.m. and go till approximately 4 p.m. And I'm not going to give the address because I don't remember it, but it's on the website, cliffkve.com. And also hamstudy.org, and I didn't put in sessions because it would be too small to read. But go to hamstudy.org, and there's a link at the top that says find a session, I believe is exactly what it says. And several people, and I don't know if any of them have checked in tonight or not, have done the online virtual testing and are very pleased with it. So that's basically it. Kyle, back to you. Thank you. KC0STV Claire, and back to Kyle.
Okay, very good. Get transitioned over here. All right, very good. Thanks, Cliff. Appreciate it. Rebecca, you are up.
Okay, this is Rebecca Carroll, KC9CIJ, your local treasurer for the club. Currently, we are sitting at $13,986.30 in our checking account, $2,457.78 in PayPal, $9,024.67 in our education fund, and our insurance CD is at $25,860.54 for a total of $51,419.29.
All right, very good. And then I wanted to bring Rebecca. I'm just going to make sure that I'm on the screen and I'm got audio here. So let me get my little script out here because I wanted to make sure that I got this correct. So I'm sure everyone is probably thinking about the human malware virus and Winterfest and where we are with that decision on having Winterfest and what is going to be the future of Winterfest for 2021. So the board and the committee for Winterfest, which is Rebecca, keep me honest, you and Bill and Pam and Bob and Dale and myself, and is that it on the board? Or I'm sorry, on the Winterfest committee?
George, Kevin.
George, Kevin. Yep. Who else are we missing here? Anybody else?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, we had to make a decision by the end of July on if we were going to hold Winterfest this year or if we were going to postpone until January 22nd of 2022. And we took into the factors of the uncertainty of the pandemic, the health and welfare of our membership and our vendors and our patrons. The state of Illinois also has restrictions on gatherings of 50 or over that have not been lifted, and there's no evidence that restriction is going to be lifted anytime soon. And the decision that we had to make to the venue by July 31st, and how our contract was worded to if we were going to postpone Winterfest 2021, that we would push all of our deposit and the money that we had been the money that we had given the venue, that would roll over until 2022. But if we decided to move forward and we had to cancel, we would be obligated for all of the money, which is a big, huge chunk of change, towards the club. So this is a very tough decision that we had to make, and we mulled over it for many, many days, and we tried to make the best decision that we could with the time frame that we had. So I'm here to announce that we have decided to postpone Winterfest in 2021 until 2022. Put the date on your calendar, January 22nd, 2022. That is the date that we will have our next in-person Winterfest. We also have postponed the banquet, the Friday night banquet, and then also the West Sham Symposium. A lot of this decision also had to do with we were not getting commitments from our regular vendors due to concerns with the Illinois restrictions, and we just felt that this was the best decision that we could make with the information that we have right now and the time frame that we had to make that decision in. It's not the decision that we wanted to make, but it's the decision that we had to make. But we are going to have Winterfest virtually. We have seen time and time again that there have been many different forums and events that have held things online, and we're going to hold Winterfest online this year, and it's going to be great. We're going to have forum speakers, we're going to have vendors, we're going to have just a whole ton of different stuff, and it's all going to come to your living room or your laptop or your computer, and it's going to be on January 23rd, 2021, which is the day that we are going to have Winterfest. So we're going to basically stream the whole day and bring you Winterfest in your living room. So we are going to work on that for the next 6 months, and we are hopefully going to bring this to you guys the best that we can with all the stuff that is happening, and hopefully we will be able to return to normal sometime in 2021, and we will see you at Winterfest in 2022. Rebecca, anything that you would like to add to that?
I think if anybody has ideas on things that you'd like to see or forums that you would like us to try to include, just drop an email to info@slsrc.org.
Yep. We want to hear your ideas. If you have a presentation that you would like to give at Winterfest, or you would like to donate some of your time to maybe call a vendor and see if they want to stream live during the Saturday stream event, we can get all the help that we can get. We need all the help that we can get. So we're looking for more people to step up. We are hopeful to fill that void this year with the online event, and bring that to you guys in the comfort of your living room. So, and then also the nice thing is we're going to record it too. So therefore, it's all going to be on YouTube. And if you miss an hour or two and you want to go back and take a look at what you missed, it's going to all be there for forever and ever. So that is the announcement about Winterfest that I have, that I didn't want to make, but we had to make it. So I'm hopeful that everyone understands. There is an email going out to our whole membership. If you take a look at our Facebook page, our Twitter page, it should be out there. I wanted to make the announcement in person here before all of that stuff went out, so you guys had a chance to hear it from me personally before you read it in an email. So that's all we have to say about that, Rebecca. All right. Very good. Let me get back to my slide here. So, George, I think you're up. Is everyone ready for the presentation? Let me get to my notes here and introduce George. You ready, George?
I am ready.
Okay, George has been an amateur radio operator since 2013 when he passed the technician exam at the Dayton Ham Fest in 2013. Really? You got your ham ticket at Dayton?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. In the sweat box of Hera Arena.
Right. That's kind of cool. In 2016, he passed for extra and passed, or he tested for extra and passed. His interests include operating digital modes and some light contesting. For SLSRC, George is the IT committee chair, but is outgoing, so thank you for your service, George. I really appreciate you maintaining the club laptops, the hardware, and also doing all the logging for field day. That is, we're going to miss you on that team. And your shoes are going to be very hard to be filled, but we will miss you. He graduated from the University of Missouri-Rolla with a bachelor's in electrical engineering. He's been asking the right questions, breaking stuff, and causing trouble since 1984. He's worked for Monsanto, Pfizer, Advantis Pharma, the Immigration of Naturalization Service, Baxter Healthcare, Amtrak, and Saks Electric. Currently, George works at Enterprise Rent-A-Car as a senior software engineer and works in the rental billing department and is responsible for systems that send rental invoices worldwide. So let me get you set up here, George, so everyone can see you. And let me remove myself. Oh, can I remove myself? How do I remove myself? Oh, no. Nobody wants to look at my mug whenever you're doing your presentation. There we go.
Okay, is that right? Okay. When we started on this, we wanted to call it something good. There is a YouTube creator that I enjoyed by the name of Jeff Quinn, and he had a series of YouTube videos called Tools of the Trade. And unfortunately, I understand that he passed away about 4 weeks ago, so we will not be seeing any more of those. But so I did it kind of like I wanted to name it in his, not his honor, but do the same thing that he did. So we decided to do it on tools. You know, I did one a while back about test equipment. So we're going to talk about tools. So we're going to talk about pliers and wire cutters and screwdrivers and stuff like that. So really the goals on this are pretty simple. Start out small here. I want to get you familiar with terminology, learn what to buy when you are starting out, and especially for the new hams. I get questions from new hams. Learn about some more advanced tools, and maybe get some tips that hopefully will prove useful if you have a tool or you're trying to do something. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. So we'll just jump right in here, and we'll start out in wire cutting. And I put this screen together. There's several things here. These are various wire cutters. The one up here with the red foam grips, that is a diagonal cutter. The one with the blue foam grips below it is like a flush cutter, also called wire nippers. The one below that is called lineman's pliers. And then the one off on the side here is a set of heavy-duty wire cutters. They're also diagonal. So the diagonal cutters, they're called really diagonals because the angle of the cutting surface is at an angle to the axis of how you close the cutter itself. So that's why they're called diagonal. It's good for stranded or solid wire. This particular set right here, you would use it with medium gauge wire, like a 20 gauge to like a 12 gauge wire. And I put the model number in here. This particular one is an Exolite 55CG. And I put that in there, and I will explain something. I am kind of biased. I like Exolite tools. It's what I grew up with, you know, sitting at my father's workbench, you know, building Heath kits or trying to repair a radio. Everything was Exolite. Almost everything was exclusively Exolite. So I'm kind of biased on it. Almost all of their tools are still made in the U.S. Now, a couple of them are not. Some of them are made in China, but almost everything that they do is still made in China. I would say that you can buy Exolite at Gateway Electronics, but since they're going to be going away, that's out. Sometimes you see them at other stores like Lowe's and Home Depot, but usually not. I guess the best place to buy them would be from like Granger, or you can buy them from Amazon. Amazon has them as well. Now these are a set of heavy-duty diagonal cutters, and you would use this for larger wire, like a 12 gauge to an 8 gauge. These are about 9 inches long, so don't let the picture fool you. They are heavy-duty. Matter of fact, yeah, I had a pair of them right here on the desk. I don't see them now. But they are heavy duty, and this particular one is made by Channel Lock. That's the name of the company. It is made in the U.S., and the model number on it is 383.
Always keep your diagonal cutters close.
Yeah, right. Now these are flush cutters. This one here is really intended for small gauge wire, and I use it for trimming the shield wires when adding an RF connector to an RF cable. And we'll talk about some other tools for cable prep that we can use that, and I'll show you what I mean. Now this is an Exolite, and the number is 170M. And this also has It has those nice foam handles on it. That's ESD safe, so it's very comfortable in the grip. Now this next one here, it's called lineman's pliers, and they also go by another name called Klein's, but Klein is actually a brand name. And what it does is it combines regular pliers. You can see down here in the inset where the jaws are open, you can see it's got some serrated jaws there, and those are pretty beefy serrations on that. It's not really kidding around here. And these are about 6 to 7 inches long. So it combines a regular pliers, allows you to grip something like a nut or a bolt, or maybe a large wire, the end of a large wire. So, and the number on this one is Klein D213-9NE. And I believe I got these at, well, actually, I actually have a pair. I have a pair of Exolite lineman's pliers, and from all the research that I've been able to do, Exolite does not make a pair of lineman's pliers anymore. I have not been able to find them, but Klein's does. They're great, and you can also buy them at Harbor Freight. Now they're called lineman's pliers because it does combine a set of pliers with a heavy-duty wire cutter. And that's the idea there is that if the lineman goes up the ladder to the top of the pole and he gets up there and he's using his wire cutters and he says, oh, where's my pliers? Well, now he's got to climb down, go back to the truck, get the pliers. This way he's got both. So that's really why they're called lineman's pliers. Now, I read someplace, and I don't know if this is really true, I can't really verify it, is that the shape of the jaws, when closed, can also be used to expand a particular conduit size. But I haven't not been able to really verify that. So next up is wire strippers. Now for wire strippers, what we want to do is we want to remove insulation from wires. And we do that for stranded or solid wire. And I'm showing two different styles here. This is Vice Grip, I think it's Irwin. And there's two different styles here that I'm showing up on the screen. So we'll talk about the first one. And this is usually the first one that everybody gets. If you look at it at the very, very top here, you will see little holes that look like they're drilled into it. Those are wire gauges. And this particular one has, it looks like from about 20 gauge all the way up to 10. So the idea here is it's got set openings for wire gauges. So you put the wire into one of those holes. You open the wire cutters up, put the wire in there, and then close it, and then spin the wire stripper. And what that will do is that will cut through the insulation, and then you just pop the insulation off. This is also multi-use. It's also got a wire cutter, which you can see below the wire stripper holes. On the bottom, below the hinge, it is a crimper. And then right there in the center around the hinge, it's got areas for screws. So in that case, if you've got a screw that you want to cut, you want it to be a different length, you would screw the screw in there with the jaws open appropriately, screw it all the way into where you want it, and then close the wire cutter, and it will cut the screw to the length that you want. So these are very easy to use. They're not really that expensive. And that's typically the first one that everybody gets. So moving on, Here's another set of wire strippers. Now these are more sophisticated. For these, you don't have a set size for the wire gauge. This is self-adjusting, so it will basically strip any size wire. And you can't really see how it works. It works by when you put the wire in there, the way it is right now, it's open. So when it's open, what you do is you put the wire in there until it meets the stop, the little yellow tab. Then what you do is you take the wire strippers and you squeeze it. And what that will do is the two little hinges at the very top will drop down. It will grip the wire, and it will basically rip the insulation off of the wire. This is actually a very nice pair. I do not have that particular pair. I bought mine from DX Engineering a couple years ago, and it's not Irwin. It's a different brand, but it's very, very similar. Now, next up here, I'm going to show you something. Okay. Now, this is what you see at Hamfest. Don't buy this.
But they're so pretty.
Yeah. Do not go near these. Let me put it this way: if they survive one use, you are lucky, or if they break off in your hand, you're also lucky. So do not buy that. I mean, go out and get something good for a wire stripper. So moving on here, we'll talk about cable cutting. Now, for a cable like RG8, RG8X, or LMR 400 or something like that, we can't really use a diagonal cutter because of the way those are built. What it will do is it will smash the foam insulation, foam dielectric, I mean. And we don't really want that. We want that to stay the shape, nice round shape, so it will continue to work. These I bought, I think I bought these from DX Engineering, but they do sell them at hardware stores. This is a channel lock. That is the brand name, and it's called a 911. And it provides a very flat, even cut. Oop, it slipped. Okay. So here it is. A little better view of it. Also described as a shear cutter, and it won't squeeze or compress the foam dielectric. You can also use it on large gauge wire like 6 gauge and 5 gauge. It's very, very tough. Gives a nice flat cut. Now, one thing I wanted to point out: if you look at the cutter, in back of the hinge, you will see 2 little standoffs. Now, those are there to keep the cutter from closing anymore. So they're just like a stop. Now, what's interesting is, and I learned this from the DX Engineering guy at Xenia a couple of years ago, is that you can also use that to reshape the cable. If the foam insulation does get a little flattened, you can actually use that as like a squeezer, and you can reshape the actual cable. So yeah, this is a good one.
Those are nice.
Yeah, those are really nice. And I mean, sky's the limit on these cable cutters. I have seen some RF cable cutters like this made in Germany that are like $130. So sky's the limit. These I think are about 30, I think. So yeah, I mean, it's a good deal. All right. So let's talk about cable prep. Now we're talking about RF cable here. And I'm going to talk about this DX Engineering device. and it allows easier building of RF connectors. Now, for me, when I started out, I went out and I started buying RF cables, which is fine. You're starting out. But there's eventually going to come a time where you're going to want to build your own. If you need a specific length, like if you need one in like 6 inches, or you need a foot, typically that's not one that you can go out and just buy off the shelf, because most of them are like in like 6 or 10 feet or 25, and for your application in this case it'd be too long. But the problem is that getting the right cut on the cable is not easy to do when you're starting out. You've got to go through the PVC jacket, which is, like I said, PVC, and it is tough stuff. And then next to that is the shield, which is made up of a lot of little tiny 26 gauge wires, followed by the foam dielectric, and then the center conductor. So this is the one for RG8X. They also make one for RG8. And I think I also make one for 213 as well. But if you go out to DX Engineering, that's the order number. You can look and see. And they do have videos on how to use it. So my experience with this has actually been pretty good. I will say that there is a learning curve with this tool. You will probably mess up about 6 inches of your cable before you actually learn how to use it properly. It works great with cable that DX Engineering sells. You can go out and buy bulk cable from them, and it works great with that. I have not had good luck with other cable sources. If you have a case where the jacket and the foam dielectric tends to be kind of squirmy, for lack of a better term, then it will not work. Because what you'll end up doing is you'll almost end up pulling the shield and the dielectric out of the jacket. Now, one thing that they don't mention in the video, and I will tell you right now, there's 2 things that you need. You need a dental pick, and you need a 7/64 hex driver or wrench. Now, the reason for that is that when you cut the PVC jacket and also the foam dielectric, they will get stuck inside of the tool. The design is that when you cut the foam dielectric or the PVC jacket, what they'll do is they will just basically scroll up out of this little slot you see in the tool. Well, no, that usually doesn't happen. What it does is it gets jammed in there. Then what you have to do is you have to take it apart. And it's pretty easy to do. I mean, these are not in there very tight, but you use your hex driver to remove that. Take the cutter out. When you put it back in, it only goes in one way. But what you do is once you take the cutter out, then you use your dental pick to pull out the PVC jacket. You'll learn that probably in the first 2 times that you use it.
George, do you think that that is due to the let me put myself so everyone can see. So you think that is due to the RG8X not being rigid enough and it kind of twisting around in there? Because I've got one of these for my LMR 400 that is not the flexible cable. It's, you know, it's got some stiffness to it. It works great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think probably the more rigidity the cable's got, I think the better that it works in these cable prep tools. What do you think?
Well, that's a very good point. The one that I have the cable is very flexible. And what it will do is, but that's basically very true. I don't have the one for RG8. The RG8 cable that I have has got a very, very stiff jacket on it, so it would probably work very well for that. But you've got a very good point. That is probably the reason for that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just put in the chat that, yes, these DX Engineering cable prep tools are expensive, but man, they are worth their weight in gold, and you will have them for a lifetime. I mean, I've had my cable prep tool for my LMR 400 and RG 213 for, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years, and I've replaced the blades on it, but I mean, it looks brand new and does the job. And then also Phil says, I don't know if you're going to get to it, but they make a cable holder for cables that allow you to hold the cable with a strong grip while you're twisting on either LMR or PL259s, or if you're just working with it, you can get a good grip on the cable. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Okay, thanks. All right. So something else here, I didn't know whether to put this under prep or something, so I put it under its own heading. Now this is something else that, of course, you can buy cable, AC/DC cable, well, DC cable, I mean, for with power poles on them, but eventually you're going to want to make your own length. And I will say that the only tool to use for making this, for making custom wire lengths, is this power pole connector. This is one by PowerWorks Tri-Crimp, and these are not cheap. They are $40 to $50. This particular one I bought at the Halloween Ham Fest, I don't know, 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Now I did have another crimper that I was using that I bought locally that was much simpler than this, and every power pole cable that I made with that failed. Now I've made a number of cables using this Tri-Crimp, and not a single one of those has failed. So this is something else that it really pays to go out and, you know, spend the money on. And using this is pretty simple. You need about 3 hands to really use it, but once you learn it, it's really very good to use. So really the first step on this is to insert the power pole insert into the crimper. And there are slots for the correct type of connector. So there's a 15, a 30, and a 45. And they are labeled on the crimper jaws. And one thing that I will say is that the connector needs to have the curved concave side down. You see it right here. This is actually the 30 amp connector, but it looks exactly the same except for the part in the back. It's the same as the 15 and the 45. And you'll notice that the curve here, the concave side is down. That's how you want to put it into the crimper. And you can see here on one, let's see how it's got the U, and the open side of the U is facing up. That's the way you want to do it. Now the second step is you just insert the wire into the connector until it stops. And the third step is crimp. And you squeeze the handle until the ratchet clicks once. This complicated looking hinge here is actually a ratchet mechanism. And as you're squeezing it, it will go click, 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 then it will stop. Continue to squeeze, and then it will click one last time and it will release. Once you hear that click and it releases, then you're done. Then it will be finished. You can break these. I've been told that you can break these. I've never done it. But the little crimper jaws here are replaceable. And that's one of the reasons why they are replaceable, is you can put enough force on this thing, you will break the crimper. And then finally, you're done. You will have your connector attached to the end of the wire. but something that it pays to spend a little more money on and get something good for your power pole needs. Now pliers. We'll go on to pliers. So we got slip joint, which you see at top there, a nice chromed version. You have light, what I call light use needle nose, which is at the bottom. It's got some blue plastisol handles. And then the other one here that I just have the tip is called a needle. I would usually call these a medium duty, and this is called a chain style. And we'll talk about what that means here in a second. So slip joint, just simple basic pliers, adjustable to 2 sizes. You've probably got 5 of these at home right now, sitting in a drawer that you can never find when you need them. But yeah, these are good to have. Yeah.
There's a question. Kai says on the crimpers. Back to the crimpers. Can you get different dies for those to do different things, or is it that particular? I know that on mine, I forget what version I have, but I do have different dies on my crimpers for Anderson power poles. I've got crimpers to crimp connectors like PL 259s, but but is the one that you showed, can you get different dies for that? Do you know?
I don't know, no.
Yeah.
No, that particular one is made by PowerWorks. And of course, they're a Force and Anderson power pole, so I'm not sure, but they make something like that for that, or you could use a different manufacturers, but I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, the one that I've got, you can get different dies for it, and then it just screws in with a bolt, and yeah, I use it all the time. Maybe I'll go and try and find mine and give you an update. So, all right, back to the presentation.
Okay. So in slip joint pliers, there's this thing called a groove. It doesn't really use a slip; it uses more of a groove. The actual axle of the pliers moves up and down in the little keyway, and you set the size by moving it, opening it up, and moving and putting another keyway into these little ridges that you see on the bottom piece. Now you also see these referred to as water pumps, and why that is, I have no idea. It's something that I learned from my uncle and my father. They would always say, well, hand me those water pumps. I'd be like, what? Hand me those pliers right there. I'd say, oh, the slip joints? So I don't know why they're called water pumps. But it is adjustable for the big jobs. You can do something very large with that. So we have here what I call light duty needle nose. And these are best for picking up items like a screw that you've dropped inside a radio. And don't ask how I know that. Not a lot of gripping power. They do make these in serrated and non-serrated versions. This particular one has a spring below the hinge. So it wants to stay open all the time, which is useful in some situations. And don't apply a lot of force. You know, like if you've got a bolt, don't go in and start using this to apply a lot of force so you want to torque it down, because you can very easily mess up the needles, the jaws on this, so that they are bent and they never line up again.
George, Jeff Lloyd says that's an old farmer term for your water hose thing. I forgot what it was called.
Well, the water pumps?
Water pump, yep.
Water pump pliers, right. Well, that's good to know. So next up, I would call these medium duty. They're also called chain style, and that's more of the shape of the jaws. It's called a chain nose because the tip has a distinctive oval shape, and I tried to find an image that showed that oval shape. And the shape is used by jewelers to make chain links out of metal. So if you want to make a chain out of gold or silver or platinum, with that oval shape, they can grip the chain on one end and just basically wrap the wire around the pliers, and they have a chain link. The ones above, the one that I'm showing here on the screen, the one above does have a wire cutter in it. The one below with the plastisol grips does not have a wire cutter in it. Screwdrivers. I'm not going to say much about screwdrivers. Once again, this is something we all got around the house. Here's a complete set from Harbor Freight. Actually pretty good. I got a set of these, and I'm very happy with them. Normally, I try to stay away from chrome-plated stuff because the chrome just flakes off after the first use. What they've done here is they've phosphated the tips, and they seem to be much more durable. They're also magnetic as well. Okay, so nut drivers, also known as spin tights. And once again, we got an Exolite product. The model number here is HS618. And this is a set, I think it goes up to like 3/8 of an inch. And they do make bigger ones. This is more like an electrician set in a nice little case. All right, so we're out of tools. Now we're going to talk about something else. We're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about chemicals. And there are some chemicals or liquids that I've found down through the years that really help out. And we're going to talk about them here in sequence. First thing we're going to talk about is deoxit. Now you see these in all the electronic stores. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about something called Undo, which I discovered probably about 20 years ago that I use all the time. Then there's a cleaner called Simple Green, then Crud Cutter, and then this interesting substance called No-Ox ID-A Special, which I'll explain. Then we'll talk about degreasers. So the first thing is, let's talk about deoxit. Now, we've all seen this. It's made by a company called CAIG, or C-A-I-G. And they make different formulations. The one that's up here on the screen is called D5. And what it is, it's a flushing formulation. So you spray it on, and with the formulation in there, it tends to wash stuff away. And what we're doing is we're removing oxidation. So if you've got like a silver contact, if you've got like a copper contact, even aluminum, oxides will form, which then interferes with the conductivity. So this is what deoxit will do. It will remove the oxidation. Now, if you've got silver antenna connectors, and they look heavily tarnished because the silver tarnishes in the atmosphere. If you spray some of this on, it might take that tarnish off. I'm not going to promise it anything. In a couple of cases, I've sprayed it on a silver-plated connector, you know, the good ones by Amphenol, and the thing just went back to a new state. It just washed it off. But I'm not going to promise that's going to happen in every case. I've seen it happen in a couple of cases. Another formulation is called DN5, and it's a very quick drying formulation. And then they also make it in a D100, which is full strength. And that comes out in a very syrupy liquid, usually in a very small bottle. And it's very thick. It just comes in various packages. You've got the large aerosol bottle can, which we see. It also comes in a very small, you can carry in your pocket or your toolbox. They make it in a little tube, and they also make it in this little glass bottle with a brush applicator, and that one is the D100. So that's what you would brush onto something in case you've got to do some really deep cleaning. They do make this in a little survival kit that's actually kind of cool. And you can buy one of these at Micro Center, because they have them at Micro Center. What you do is you get 3 different formulations in the aerosol. You get the deoxit, standard deoxit, which is red. You get deoxit gold, which they recommend you to use on gold connectors, things that are gold plated. Then they have something they call shield. The shield I've used on a few occasions. I've been trying to use it more and more. And what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to prevent the oxidation from coming back. Does it work? I don't know. I can't answer that.
Because it's never come back.
Right. But also contained in here is the little tubes to attach to the aerosol can, so you can get some reach on it. There's a little cloth. There's a little tube here of swabs that Hague Laboratories makes, and they do sell those individually. You don't need to buy them in the kit, and they are really nice. They're really nice. If you've got, especially your Anderson power poles, because those wipers in there have been silver plated, they will oxidize. They'll get oxidation on them. And these little swabs, little foam swabs, are great for getting in there. You just go in and put a little bit of deoxit on there, on the swab, and then run it through the opening on the Anderson power poles, and it really works well. They give you 3 tubes of just the liquid, some more wipes, and then they give you these handy wipes that are in deoxit gold, which I've actually never used. I mean, I do have some gold connectors, not for ham radio, but on stereo equipment. I do have some of that, but I've really never used them. So that's a handy little unit. Put it in your glove box. One thing I used to do when at Enterprise, I worked at the Lakeside location, which is there on Page and Ball Drive. We had an open office plan, and what they had done is they had put out little chargers, and you had a little battery that you could put in there, and it would charge up. And then you come by, pick up a battery, and charge your phone or your iPhone or whatever. Well, gee, that's really nice. The problem is that after a while, people are handling that with Krispy Kreme encrusted hands. All the connectors get kind of nasty. Of course, it was all aluminum, so you're going to have aluminum oxide that would form. So I would come in, I don't know, maybe once a month. I'd bring in my little kit here with deoxit, and I'd go through and I'd clean all those. And lo and behold, they all started charging again. So using the deoxit aerosols with a connector. And this, like I said, for like a BL259. So what I usually do is spray a short burst onto the metal of the connector. Now with the aerosols, what will usually happen is as the propellant or the carrier boils off, so to speak, what it will do is it will foam up, and if it turns green or it turns black, then it is doing its job. That is a good sign. Then I would apply another burst and wait for 2 minutes. Then what I would do is I would remove any excess with a washcloth. Now you can also use this on antennas. I don't know if you have any antennas that have multi-taps for different bands. I've got a couple of the Outbacker antennas, and those have different taps for different ham bands. Well, you got to go in there and clean that out because they are mobile antennas, so they're out there in the elements. But you take some deoxit and spray it on those connectors, and I guarantee it will turn green and black as it cleans. And I just keep spraying it with deoxit until it doesn't change color anymore. If it stays red, then it's clean. So yeah, it really does help on the reception on those particular Outbacker antennas. Now we also use these for a switch, particularly on the older radios. So you would spray a short burst onto the contacts, and you've got to get in there and you've got to get to the switch, which means taking it out of the cabinet normally. So you spray a short burst and then you operate the switch. You just turn it back and forth. Don't baby it. Actually flip it back and forth with some authority. And then go in, spray it with another burst, and then wait 2 minutes. And then remove any excess that may have dripped with a clean cloth. And then I usually wait before applying any voltage. And usually you can repeat that as needed. And usually 2 applications is pretty good. That will clean things up on that switch. Now, for undue adhesive remover, I discovered this probably over 20 years ago at a camera store in Washington, D.C. I was walking by a display and I saw this and I'm like, what on earth? So I bought it and started using it. And I'll tell you what, I'm a believer. So it's usually found in the 4-ounce size, and that's what you're looking at here. They do make smaller ones and they do make bigger ones. It is safe for plastic. I've never seen a case where it would disturb plastic or melt or craze it. But if you have a plastic item, you might want to test it. It does contain some kind of petroleum distillate. I'm not exactly sure what. And it does have a very slight odor, but it's not really strong. So wait for it to come up here. Okay, there we go. Now, how to use it? That's actually very good. Now, Undo gives some directions for this, and I don't follow them because I think you end up using a lot of wasting the Undo. And this is what it comes in. It looks like this. And as you see at the top here is this little plastic thing. I guess you could call it a spudger. And you use that to get the label off in combination with the liquid. Now what they recommend you do is you undo it like this. And then you tilt it like this. And while the liquid is dripping out, you're using the spudger to loosen the label. Well, I don't like to do that. I do it a different way because I think you end up wasting a lot of the Undo. It drips all over the place. So I'm going to try to do a little demonstration here. I got something here that's not amateur radio related. It's a nice set of Starrett pin punches. Really nice stuff. But it's got this label on it. And I want to get that label off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put a few drops on it, on the label. Then I'm going to come in here with the spudger and just slowly work that spudger underneath the label. And there you go. We pulled that label off. Now to really finish that up, there's still some residue left on there. So what I'll do is I'll put some here on a clean paper towel. Then you just come in here and just buff it.
So George, where can you get some of that stuff?
The only place that I have found around here is Amazon.
Gotcha.
There is something called that you can buy in the stores called Goo Gone, but I've never had any luck with that.
I need like a 55-gallon drum of Undo for a lot of things.
Right. Well, you know, you use it for a lot of things like this stuff right here, not ham radio related, but you get that label off. I would use it on ham radio because, you know, you're at a ham fest and you go into look at a vendor in the swap meet, and you find this thing that you've been looking for 5 years, you know, and the price is excellent on it, maybe even 10 years, and you can't believe that you've actually found it and you want to buy it, that is so good. So you buy it and you get it home, and the swap meet guy had it on his table for so long, he's had price stickers all over it, and it sat out in the hot sun in Dayton, Ohio at Hara Arena for 10 years. So that sticker and that glue turned into some nasty stuff, very sticky, and Undo will take it off. Okay, so Simple Green, don't know if you use this stuff or not. It's great. It's non-toxic, biodegradable. I wouldn't want to drink it, but it's very safe. It has a pleasant odor, kind of like an evergreen, minty toothpaste kind of scent. Good for cleaning off radios. Also, crud cutter. Now this right here, I was using Simple Green for really a long time, and I had some radio equipment, some old Heathkit stuff that I must have been owned by a 3-pack-a-day smoker, because you would turn that thing on, and you know, and 10 minutes later, not only did you get that old solder and flux smell, but you would swear that you were in a bar someplace from the nicotine and the tar from it. This stuff will take it off, and it's very safe. It won't eat through plastic. There's other stuff out there that will take the nicotine and tar off, but it will also take the plastic off and the paint and everything else. This won't really do that. And I really accidentally discovered it. I was trying to get some nicotine off of a faceplate, and I had tried rubbing alcohol. I had tried acetone. Nothing would touch it. And then somebody told me, well, why don't you try crud cutter? It's a good remover for that. And I went out, got some crud cutter, and sprayed it on there, and the smoke and nicotine immediately started to drip off. So it does work. And also, if you go out, I used to see it a lot, but I don't really see it anymore. Guys will take old radios like a Heathkit or a Collins, and they will literally soak the thing in crud cutter. Of course, they'll take all the tubes out, you know, and all the connectors and everything. They will literally soak the thing in crud cutter, and then they will take a hose and wash the thing out from the tap water. Then they will usually put it in a very low oven to dry it out. I've never tried that with the radio, but they say it does work. But crud cutter will pull the nicotine and tar right out of it.
Yeah, George, you got some comments in the chat here. Josh asks, does your undo remove duct tape residue?
Yeah, it would do it.
Okay. Brendan says the MSDS sheet online says I think your undo is nearly identical to Zippo lighter fluid.
It does have a similar scent.
Probably don't want to use it next to a campfire, right?
Right. If it's Zippo lighter fluid, then it's probably something like close to naphtha.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Phil is saying, I'm not really sure what he said. Acetone works well. I think he might have been referring to the undo also. And then Brendan says, in my experience, acetone works well, but it damages a lot of plastics.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Yep.
You have to be careful with that. Okay, so that was crud cutter. So let's talk about this stuff called No-Ox ID. I had been looking for something. I've been looking for probably dielectric grease, because I wanted to prevent connectors from getting oxidized, because I sometimes, or I used to, I don't really anymore, had a Comet, I think it's a C400 mount on my tailgate, and that the connector on that connects the antenna is actually open to the elements. There's a big bolt that goes in there, and then the coax goes around the corner of that and inside the car. And I wanted something to protect that and keep it conducting. Of course, in St. Louis we get snow, so that means a lot of rocks and a lot of salt, and I wanted something to prevent that. So I came up with this. I found this. Kind of interesting stuff, and it works. I'm still not sure quite what to think about it, but it is an electrically conductive grease, and I use it where I want protection from water intrusion, but still I want electrons to flow. Now they advertise it as you put this stuff on a metal surface, and the surface won't oxidize because it's protecting the surface. It does contain petroleum distillates, and I want to point out that this tube that you see on the screen here is the 8-ounce size. And I'll show you the size. Now here's my hand, okay, and here's the tube.
Oh my gosh,
here.
That's huge.
Okay. So somebody is going to inherit this tube from me, because I will never use all of this in my lifetime. But they do make it in smaller sizes. I think they make it in like a 1-ounce or a 2-ounce tub, and that's probably what you want to get, unless you want to get some for the whole family. And I got kind of a story about that. Happened a few years ago when we were still having conventions in Dayton. It was on a Monday, and I had pulled into the Air Force Museum, and I had my mobile rig set up. Had my outbacker antenna and the Comet C400. And I pulled into a parking lot, into a parking slot, and got out. And no sooner had I got out, and the guy said, "Are you a ham?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I am." And he said, "Well, I saw the antenna." So we were talking about the Comet 400, and he said, you know, I tried one of those, but I just could not get it to work very well. It would get corroded, and get salt and everything in it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I do. So I had this with me, and I don't know why I had it with me, but I had it in the car. So what I did was I showed it to him, and I said, this is what I use. You just put a little bit of this on there. You don't need a lot. Don't glob it on there. You're not packing a wheel bearing on a Corvette. You don't need that much. Just about the size of a pea. And put this on the surfaces, and it will really help in producing and reducing the corrosion. And it does work. And I'm still not sure what to think about it because I don't know why it works.
Cliff is saying that I'm not really sure how to read that. STUF dielectric waterproofing filter. I haven't heard of that. Cliff, you might want to give us a little more information there. I don't know if that's the name of a some dielectric waterproofing stuff or.
Yeah, I would have to look at that. I'm not familiar with that either.
Yeah. Anyway.
So how to use it, you apply a small ounce amount to a toothpick or like a cotton swab and apply that to the surface or the connector threads and then just basically put them together and you're done. Now, like I said, NOx, it looks at preventing the oxidation. What they recommend you do is you put some on there on your metal surface and then just rub it in. I've never really used it that way. Like I said, I'm trying to keep things sealed. I don't want water to get into the connectors. So that's what I use it for. Okay, so we're winding this down here, and I want to talk about degreasers, which are useful to remove old grease and oil. One word about that deoxit stuff. After you have it on the antenna mount for a couple of years, because it is kind of goomy, it's kind of waxy, what it will do is it will actually attract dirt and salt and all sorts of stuff that you don't really want on your connection. So you got to get that off. Usually when I had the Comet mount on the Honda, I would take the whole thing apart and clean it really well, and then reapply the no-ox so it would work. So I got two things here. First up is this stuff called Electric Clean. Now I discovered this actually a few months ago. And I use it. I started out not using it for ham radio. I was using it for something else to remove oil. But it's non-corrosive, non-staining, non-conductive. It evaporates quickly and leaves no residue. It's got a dielectric strength of over 50K. Just spray it on whatever you need to clean. It evaporates quickly, so be ready with a clean cloth and use plenty of ventilation because it does have quite an odor to it. Matter of fact, I won't use it in the house. I will go outside to use it. Yeah, it's got a smell. It's a very sweet smell, somewhere between the Undo and acetone. When you spray it on, it evaporates very quickly. When I first started to use it, I would spray it on something, and then I would take it inside to, clean stuff off with towel. But the stuff evaporated so quickly. By the time I got back in the house, it had evaporated. So you spray it on, and if you want to go in and clean something off and be ready with a clean cloth immediately. A can of this runs you about $8 at, I think it's Home Depot. Home Depot around here has got the best price. Anyway, I discovered this, finding it of use. Like I said, it's got a lot of applications for ham radio as well due to its non-conductive. I can see using it on some older radios because they were using older style grease and oil in those, not like the modern stuff nowadays. And the problem with those greases and oils is that once the VOCs, once the volatile compounds evaporate, what's left makes a real nice glue.
Yeah.
So the ElectroClean will remove that. Something else that works pretty good. Now, we've already touched on this one. This is acetone, otherwise known as nail polish remover. And it also, if I'm not mistaken, will also loosen a joint done by soup glue. I believe that's one of its claims to fame. It's not very toxic at all. It is very flammable, and it has a very sweet odor to it. So have plenty of ventilation when you use this. You can buy it in small sizes. I mean, here's a smaller container. I got this in the cosmetic section at Walmart. They do make bigger bottles of it. You can go over to the paint section in Walmart or Home Depot. They also sell it there, and it's usually in either a plastic or a metal can. It tends to be a lot more expensive. But if you go over to the cosmetic section, you can buy it, and it's just cheap. So that's something else that's good for removing oil and grease. And all right, we have reached the end of this.
Very good. We will see if there's any other questions in the chat. Cliff had a Cliff sent me a text about the STUF, the it's made by. Well, let me see if I can get a picture of it. This is what might be backwards, but if you look on Gigapart's website, that's the STUF that he's talking about, the dielectric waterproofing.
Okay.
Roland says, thanks, George. Jeff says, thanks. Robert says, thumbs up. Thanks.
Great.
Chuck says, thanks.
Yeah, when we really started out, and I proposed this. Of course, I proposed this back when we were in non-COVID territory,
Right.
and I was going to do a lot of demos. You'd all have all the tools there. You could look at the power pole crimper, and maybe we would demonstrate how to use that. But
Well, I
so
think
we did this, and I think it worked out pretty well anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's an awareness of all the stuff that you need. I think somebody said it in the chat. I think it might have been Kai that said the right tools for the right application. And, whenever you go through, I'm going to have to rewatch this stream to I'm going to have to pull out $50 and buy a can of everything because, some of this stuff I didn't even know it existed. And kind of make a mental note on where you use which chemical, and it's who's going to tell you this until someone either does a presentation or you stumble on it by accident or you have that application and then you do a ton of research, it's nice to just have it all in one location like you put together, George. So thank you for this. So, all right. Any other last parting words, George?
No, 73, everybody. Stay healthy and safe.
Yep. Josh said, mentioned a crimper insert for the different types. Yeah, I went over to my toolbox over here, and of course, the let me
Yeah. Yeah. Lost.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Sorry. Everything's gone wrong tonight. So, sorry guys. The Josh, like I said, you might want to take a look on DX Engineering's website on that that crimper and the dies that you can put in. And the crimper that I've got didn't have a brand name on it, so you might want to take a look at the one at DX Engineering. I thought that I bought it at DX Engineering, but anyway. Jeff says an Aries exercise tomorrow. Yeah, so if you're in Aries, there's an Aries exercise tomorrow. So get on the repeaters. I think that they might start on the 8.5. And then let's see. Kathy, very helpful. Dig out what I already have. Phil says the audio left you. Yeah, I hit a button on the streamer here. Brendan says great job, George. Thank you. All right. So that's it. If you missed anything in the stream, you can rewind it. I'm going to cut this up and here in a it's a simplex drill. Sorry. It's don't go to the 8.5. Go take a look at SLSRC.org for the information about the exercise tomorrow. I was getting the other one mixed up. So it's a simplex exercise. So everyone is correcting me on that. Thank you. So take a look at SLSRC.org for information on the exercise tomorrow morning. And that is it. Thanks for everyone attending. Appreciate it. And if you didn't hear our Winterfest announcement, we have postponed Winterfest until 2022. We will have Winterfest 2021 virtually online, so be looking for that. You should be getting an email shortly in your inbox with the information on why we postponed. I wanted to make sure that you heard it from me first before you read it in an email. So those went out about 7:45 or so, 7:40, 7:45. So check your email. 73, y'all. I appreciate it. And we will do the same thing again, same bat channel, same bat time next month. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. 73.